Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. It is 11:42 p.m. here on Saturday, December 23rd, the night before Christmas, or Christmas Eve, as we might call it, is today's episode. So yes, Saturday, December 23rd, Christmas Eve is in less than 20 minutes. So, coaching, got my Merry Grinchmas Christmas pajamas on, trying something a little different. Instead of my orange drink, I got some pink drink now. And on this night before Christmas, we've got to talk about a bunch of stuff today. We got to talk about some anniversaries, some local news, movies, of course, TV shows, trailers, some Christmas stuff, Cthulu, Festivus, football, kaijus, Rocketeer, $1 billion in baseball players, Ken the EP, Sasquatch, man goats, Uranus, dog man. What the hell did I write there? Oh, more football stuff. Christopher Eccleston and Ryan Coogler and Alan Richardson and all kinds of fun stuff here. So, this is it. We are finally reached the pinnacle of our holiday season here. And it's been a weird holiday season, to be honest. For me, particularly because both my kids are young. Not young, I mean, they're older now, I should say. One's 17 and one's 14. So we were looking at the presents we were getting for them this year. And you might hear some movement in the back. That's my wife getting the Christmas wrapping paper and stuff. Right? She's going to wrap while I do the show. And we were looking at the piles of stuff we were getting for Christmas. And I was just like, wow, I remember when my son wanted all these toys and video games, stuff like that. And my daughter wanted a lot more manga and stuff like that. And now I'm looking at what we've got for them. And it's just like jewelry for my daughter, shirts and clothes for my son, a few little fun things here and there, but nothing really major because he didn't really ask for anything. And that's just the kind of the weird sort of take on things. And it was just, it just felt like a weird holiday season. I mean, we're a little bit behind on things, not feeling the urge to get stuff done. I mean, I got the exterior done right after Thanksgiving, but it took me about 2 more weeks to do the interior. And then I just got a thing of lights today that I was going to put on our mantle the day before Christmas. And I didn't put them up there. They're just still sitting in the box. I was like, okay. And I did go shopping today. I had to do some last minute stuff. I actually have to go shopping tomorrow also, real quick, to get a few things. I didn't have a lot of stuff for my wife, and I had to figure out something. So I figured out something when I was out, but I still needed to get stuff. And I just been wiped. So I've been running around and then wiped. And then my wife said she was going to make a bunch of the food that we need for Christmas today. She didn't. So she's going to push that off till tomorrow. We've got Mass tomorrow with my in-laws, and then we're going out to a nice dinner at the Harriman house. So we've got our afternoon is packed. My son spent the night at his friend's house Friday night and Saturday, and my daughter is at her friend's house tonight, Saturday to Sunday. So it's just, I guess it's true what they say when kids get older, Christmas becomes a little less stressful is a proper word, but a little less festive, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we're still celebrating stuff. We're still going to have a good time. We're going to go see my family on Christmas Day. And then we've got Christmas festivities planned for next weekend. And next weekend is going to be even more crazy. New Year's Eve weekend, the 30th, we're getting Christmas with my dad and my sister. On the 31st, having Christmas with my mom. And the 1st, having Christmas with my in-laws. So just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So just want to get this out here. So just not feeling too much about the Christmas spirit too much right now. And I again, it's just kids are getting older. They don't want as much stuff, and we got less presents than we usually do because they didn't really want too much. And there's really only so much we can do, and we'll see. It'll all come together. So what we've got today, the 23rd, is actually Festivus, which is funny that this was created on Seinfeld and became such a huge phenomenon. It's actually become an actual holiday. It's the airing of grievances and then the shows of strength, and you worship the metal pole, stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting thing that they could create something like that, and then it took off and turned into this pop culture thing as well. Eggnog Day. I love Eggnog Day. Is actually tomorrow, Christmas Eve also. I love eggnog. I've got eggnog in the refrigerator. I'm going to have some of that tomorrow probably when I'm wrapping my wife's presents. So that'll be good. Godzilla's all over the place today. Godzilla -1 has made $36.9 million in the United States, $70 million worldwide, and it still has other countries that it is going to release to that it hasn't released to yet, and also they're still going to be in theaters. And then news came out this week also that they are re-releasing the movie in Japan in black and white. So that's pretty insane. So it's a good movie too. If you still haven't seen it yet, I had my review about a couple weeks ago. It's well worth it. It's a very good movie. Speaking of Godzilla, also he has an official cookbook. Godzilla, the official cookbook, is out. I don't know. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at the story to see what was like some of the recipes or whatever. But it's interesting that you have a Godzilla official cookbook now too, which is really funny. This isn't Godzilla, but for the longest time, Cthulhu has been trying to make its way to the film world. What's his face? Guillermo del Toro has been trying to get At the Mountains of Madness done forever. And actually, to be honest, I would love to see what Guillermo del Toro could do with a Cthulhu story. And At the Mountain of Madness is an insane story. Would be an insane movie also. I can understand why movie production companies are a little hesitant to do it, but still, you should totally give it a try. I think Guillermo del Toro would be a great way to do it. I think you should give it to him. However, James Wan just threw his name in the hat also. He wants to do a Call of Cthulhu movie. So I don't know what the difference is. I mean, they're different stories, obviously, but is James Wan able to bring in the movie at a lower cost? It's not the same movie, but a Cthulhu movie in at a lower cost. Is that why we're having the discussions now? Guillermo del Toro is sort of stagnant right now. Hell, I think they had Tom Cruise attached once to At the Mountains of Madness, and they still didn't greenlight it, which is wild. Bad news for, and actually, before we do that, one more kaiju story. B movies are so great. I love watching B movies because they're so bad. And the fact that Sci-Fi Channel doesn't do them anymore is a crime because there's so many good ones that have come out over the last, it's been like 6, 7, 8 years since they've actually showed one. And one of those is called Hot Springs Shark Attack. Now, why is this different than other shark attack movies? This shark is a kaiju-sized shark attacking a town, and I can't believe it's taken this long to create a kaiju-sized shark attacking a town because of the popularity of these B movies with sharks in them. The fact that and they've come up with other ones that you're like, okay, but this one has just seemed kind of obvious, and no one ever touched it till now. So that's kind of interesting. I guess Mega Shark was kind of like that, but not really. Last Christmas, the Wham version, much like with Rocking Around the Christmas Tree that Brenda Lee a couple weeks ago, Last Christmas from Wham has actually hit #1 at the pop Billboard charts or whatever, #1. for the first time since being released 39 years ago. So around this time of year, when there's not a lot of new music out there, Christmas music becomes the hugely popular stuff. And as I said last week, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Brenda Lee's one, took 50 some years to get to number one. Now this one, Wham's Last Christmas, got hit at number one on the charts the first time in 39 years. So that's pretty good. I don't even know if it did it when it came out originally back in the 80s. More bad news for Scream 7. They lost their star due to some comments she made on her social media. Jenna Ortega said she's not going to do it anymore because she claimed filming Wednesday was going to overlap, but in reality, it was she wanted more money, similar to what Neve Campbell wanted. They refused to give her more money, so she walked. And now director Christopher Landon, who would have been a really good choice to see what he would have done with it, he's now decided he's going to walk also because he doesn't have the stars he wants, and the Spyglass Entertainment, which is the production company, is really interfering badly with the production of it. So he just said, F this, I'm out of here. There's a Roadhouse remake starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and the first pics of that started coming out. We get a picture of swole Jake Gyllenhaal. He's all puffed up and rah. New Dune 2 trailer came out late last week, right after I did the show last week. It came out. It looks like the same old Dune stuff, and it'll probably get a lot of, I don't know, it's opening early in the year. Hopefully it'll still have the momentum to do an Oscar push next year, so we'll see what happens. Echo, the next Marvel TV series on Disney Plus, has been moved up to January 9th, 2024. With 5 episodes, all of them releasing at the same time. Now, I make a comment about this because the Marvel haters are screaming, "Oh, why is Disney doing this? They don't believe in this project, so that's why they're releasing all of them at one time." And I started thinking about it. It was like, that's not it at all. This is what it is. One, it's going to star Kingpin. We're not going to star Echo's a star, but it's going to co-star Kingpin and Daredevil. Both actors, Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, who did it for the Netflix series, are reprising their roles in the Disney Plus series. 2, it is going to be Disney's first mature audiences only television show because there's lots of violence, and there might be more about that. And that's the whole point of it. Why number 3 is because they are trying to emulate the Netflix way of doing Daredevil and get the Daredevil fans who watch on Netflix, who are hesitant to watch it on Disney, to do it this way. So instead of releasing it all at one or in a weekly way like they usually do, to continue with it, saying, "Hey, this is all part of the Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist sort of stuff," where they released all episodes at one time. They want to keep that sort of to say, hey, this is something that, if you like the Netflix Daredevil thing, we're afraid that Disney was going to water it down. Here's your chance to see it. We're going to show you every episode like they did in Netflix so you can binge watch it. And it's going to be MA, and it's going to have the stars in it. And then you can make a decision for yourself. But I think this is a good idea. It's not because they don't believe in the series. I think it's because they're trying to emulate the Netflix series and trying to get the fans of the Netflix series to come over and watch this. So when they finally do release Daredevil Born Again, they're going to probably they can't really do it similar because it's like a 22 episode thing. So they might release half of them, at one time, and the other half of that. We'll see what happens. So that's a good sign. So that is why they're doing it, not because they don't believe in it. Morons. Local news: principals welcomes elementary school students as dressed up as Elf on a Shelf. I guess he did that a while back. It was just a story, I guess, that popped up on my feed now that school's over with. Go figure. Peaches, unfortunately, by Jack Black from the Super Mario Brothers movie, will not be performed at the Oscars because it will not be on the ballot, because what they tend to do with the Oscars is they have like everybody throws suggestions for, like, say, best song. And then I think people vote on what's like the top 25 songs that they can, top 10, maybe top 10, top 15, top 25 songs that they would like to see on the ballot. And then the ballot comes out, and then they vote on those. And if you don't hit that, if you're not in that range, that 10, 15, 20, whatever, you're not going to be on the ballot. So Peaches, unfortunately, will not be competing for best song, which is a shame because it would have been great to see. Because I know I'm Just Ken will be, because it's already been nominated for a bunch of other awards where Peaches really has not. And it would be great to see Jack Black singing Peaches and Ryan Gosling singing I'm Just Ken. But that is not going to happen. Michael Caine has retired from acting. We kind of knew that already, but now he's living alone in the woods, not as like a Unabomber type. He's learning how to survive off the land and stuff like that. He's stockpiling fruits and vegetables and wood and all kinds of stuff. So he's just living his best life. Is what he wants to do. So there we go. And I'm just going to kill time here till I see that switch over to 12 midnight. Guess what? Merry Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Eve, ladies and gentlemen. So it is now there's no longer the night before Christmas. It is now the night before Christmas. Well, technically it's the morning before Christmas, because after midnight it sort of gets into early morning. So we are officially in Christmas Eve mode. Oh, no, not yet officially. On my computer we are. Oh, we still got 30 seconds left. So my computer says it's Christmas Eve, but my phone says we still have 25 seconds before. So we're still the night before Christmas. So while we're talking about that, some anniversaries, sudden death 28 years ago this week is the Jean-Claude Van Damme hockey Die Hard sort of thing on New Year's Eve movie that came. I guess it did okay. Kind of popular like that. And I think that just about did it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially December 24th. So Merry Christmas Eve. Now officially on my phone. Now my computer says 12:01, so what do we know? Do you need a light, babe?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. There's my wife. Oh, are those the ornaments?
Broad Creek Christmas balls.
They look great. So let's see what else. True Grit, the Coen Brothers remake with Haley Steinfeld and Jeff Daniels. Jeff. Shit. It is Jeff, right? Bridges. Jeff Bridges. Yeah, that's what it is. Came out 13 years ago this week. One of my favorite movies, Robert Zemeckis' Cast Away with Tom Hanks, came out 23 years ago this week. Saw that in the movie theater with my wife. Lord of the Rings Return of the King is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, this week actually, and I saw that with my wife also. And Johnny Dangerously came out, I believe it was 1985. I don't have the date here, but Johnny Dangerously, the great Michael Keaton, Joe Piscopo, Mary Lou Henner, Danny DeVito, comedy, mobster comedy came out. My mother hanged me on a hook once. If you know, you know. Deaths this week. This one's pretty hard for the local people. Ryan Miner, who was an Baltimore Orioles baseball team prospect, was supposed to be the heir apparent to Cal Ripken, and was actually the player who took Cal Ripken's place when he ended his streak. Thought he was going to be Cal's replacement because he was a young prospect, had hot properties, but his career didn't last too long with the Orioles. And he soon left baseball, I think he played some basketball, I think, for a little bit there, and then became a manager. And he died at the age of 49, which is 1 year less than me, and that's just really wild. I don't know if it said how he died, but that's still kind of wild to me. And Mike Nussbaum, who was in Men in Black, he was the elderly alien guy who had the cat that he was in love with, named Orion, and was with Carol Struycken, who was killed by Vincent D'Onofrio. That's who Michael Nussbaum is. So he died at the age of 99, 50 years older than Ryan Miner, which was crazy. Andor Season 2, which was originally supposed to now come out in August of 2024, has now been removed from Disney's schedule for 2024, so it looks like it will not be coming out until 2025. Could be interesting. Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount have opened up negotiations on merging into one big, massive company, so we're going to be following that into 2024. To see how that goes. Speaking of the Orioles have officially, there's been a lot of stuff going on since like September about this, but we finally got the deal done. Baltimore Orioles have signed a lease with the city of Baltimore to lease the stadium for the next 30 years. So the Baltimore Orioles will not be moving to Nashville, as all the pundits said they would be. They will not be. They've officially signed the lease for the next 30 years. We've been talking about this Iceland volcano. It seems like forever. We brought this stuff up about a few weeks ago when there was multiple volcano eruptions and earthquakes and stuff like that, but this one hadn't erupted yet. This week, the Iceland volcano has finally erupted, so we have a big volcanic eruption. NASA shot a video of a cat playing with a laser pointer about 18.56 million light years out into space, and then streamed it back through their computers. It's a good way to test the equipment with cat videos. Why not? Speaking of Ryan Gosling, I talked about him just a few minutes ago. He has released a new album called Ken the EP, which has 3 new versions of I'm Just Ken, including a Christmas version. So haven't heard much about that, but there we go. Now, we've heard a lot of bad reviews for Pool Man, which is Chris Pine's directorial debut about a pool man who discovers a conspiracy to steal the water of Los Angeles, and he decides to stop them. The reviews that came out of Toronto International Film Festival and a bunch of other places said it was a god-awful movie and whatever. However, Vertical, a production company I've never heard of before, has bought the rights to release the movie Pool Man into the United States, and will do so in 2024. So we'll see that eventually. Now it is officially Christmas Eve. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. Technically 24 hours from now, it will be Christmas Day. But on Christmas Day, tomorrow, a annual tradition comes back to Disney Plus. It's the first time on Disney Plus, but annual tradition that's been going on for years. The Doctor Who Christmas special. This one has Gutty Nadas. No, I want to pronounce it correctly because I like the guy. New Doctor Who actor. How do I pronounce his name? Ncuti Gatwa is how you pronounce it. And now that I know how to do that properly. So Ncuti Gatwa is the new doctor, and he looks like he's having a blast. From the trailer we saw of the Christmas special, looks like he's going to have a blast. And my wife is kind of interested in seeing it also. and I want to see it. But his first Christmas special and his first full episode by himself is set to premiere tomorrow on Disney Plus, continuing the tradition that has happened in London every Christmas. And I bring this up now, not only because to get you people to watch it, because it's a brand new start, everything's starting over. You don't need to know the history. It's a brand new Doctor. Everything is starting over basically from scratch, even though he is the 15th Doctor. It is starting over from scratch. And I really hope that Fortnite goes back to the Doctor Who event they were planning, because I really want a Ncuti Wada skin, and I also want a David Tennant skin, and I want to get, it's supposed to be like a mini battle pass, and that'd be awesome if we can get that, get like a TARDIS and all kinds of, it'd be awesome if they would get back to that. So hopefully they will. But I said, because Doctor Who Festivus specials have been linked to lower death rates, and that was actually done by a actual college did a study of this. And I guess it's because it is an uplifting holiday special. Because if you've ever seen any of the Doctor Who specials, you know most of them are uplifting. Now, some have their moments of what the F, but in general, they tend to be uplifting. And in England, it has been a tradition since 63, almost 60 years ago, that every Christmas, the families, one of the things they would do is after they ate dinner and open presents, whatever, they'd sit down in front of the telly and they'd watch Doctor Who's Christmas special, because it was a big event. I mean, it was an event that happened all the time. And then they brought it back when they rebooted it back in 2004. Eccleston never got one because, well, he was Eccleston. But Tennant got at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, technically 5 since his last two, I guess 4, because the last one was New Year's Eve. So at least 4. And then Smith got at least 3. Capaldi got at least 3. Jodie Whittaker, the guy who produced Jodie Whittaker stuff, didn't want to do the Christmas specials, but did like New Year's ones instead. So that was kind of depressing. Wish he would have been able to get a Christmas one. And now Ncuti Wada is going to get his own his first Christmas special. So I mean, it makes sense because it's a family thing you do. You sit down in front of the telly, as I said, and you watch it. So and it's uplifting, so you wouldn't be, I guess, having the suicidal thoughts or whatever that made you want to go ahead and do that. Excuse me. A Pakistani goat has 21-inch long ears. They had a picture of it that showed these massive ears on this poor goat. Don't know how they were created, genetics, whatever, I suppose, but still pretty crazy. The winter solstice was on the 21st, technically like about 10:27 p.m. on the 21st, but first day of winter came out, and Netflix released some behind the scenes pictures of Avatar: The Last Airbender live action show, which is coming in 2024. And this time they showed the Ice family. Now they've shown the Fire family, they showed the Earth family, I think, or the Wind family. They showed the Ice family here, so that was kind of cool to see that. After getting embarrassed by the college football committee, Florida State, which deserves a shot in the playoffs, the four-game playoffs. And the only reason why they believe that they did not get in because Alabama is a bigger draw for television and makes more money for college football, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. And I went off my rant on that a couple of weeks ago when it first came out. But because of that, Florida State is beginning to think that if they stay in the stagnant ACC, because nobody really looks at the ACC as a powerhouse anymore. Clemson used to be really the only one that was a powerhouse in there, but even they started to fall back a little bit. There really hasn't been any other. I guess technically Michigan, Ohio State are in there, so it seems kind of odd. No, that's the Big Ten. So yeah, Clemson's the only one I think that was in the ACC. That's a big program. So Florida State is starting to begin the process of leaving the ACC. Now, I don't know exactly what that entails or where they plan to go. They plan to go to the Big Ten. They plan to go to the SEC. because they think they can run with the big dogs or what. I don't know, but they're planning on leaving the ACC because they believe the ACC is a lesser college program. And they believe that is one of the reasons why they got screwed out of their spot in the playoff. Lego released a bunch of new stuff. Talk about one now, talk about one a little later. This one, the Sorting Hat Lego is out now. So you can create a Lego replica of the Sorting Hat. It's now available. David Oyelowo, who's doing that Lawman Bass Reeves, that's what it was, that Sheridan's involved with. He's a producer actor. He's been trying to get a sequel, reboot, whatever you want to call it, to The Rocketeer off the ground for a while. He announced it a couple of years ago, but nothing's been done about it. Well, this week he announced that the writing is starting on it. They have a pretty good story. He's going to star in it. And the basic story is that a former Tuskegee airman is going to stumble upon the Rocketeer's rocket pack. And that's the premise. And they'll create a story out of that. So that's kind of an interesting idea. So we'll see how that rolls out there. Oh, yeah, a Super Smash Bros. Universe is being developed by Illumination. They did the Super Mario Brothers movie. They're talking about doing a Legend of Zelda movie, and so they've got all these other Nintendo stuff, sort of games that they can turn into movies, and they want to turn it all into a big multi-universe like the MCU sort of thing, and have it end up in a big old Super Smash Brothers movie as well, where they're all fighting each other. So we'll see how that comes to fruition, if it does. Nostalgia continues to creep into stuff. The Atari 2600 with cartridges is now back out for sale. So all you nostalgic people who are just want to play video games with lousy graphics, just to relive your childhood because your adulthood is so awful, apparently, you can do it now. I did a whole episode where I think nostalgia is good, but it's not. You should not make it your whole life, and I just find that kind of embarrassing a little bit. I did that one already, so I can check that off. Ben Stiller, who hasn't acted in a film in about 6 years, is finally getting back into acting in a movie called Nutcrackers from director David Gordon Green about getting a family. So that should be interesting. Becoming part of a family, whatever. So we'll see about that. Cheech and Chong have created more than, Cheech and Chong have made 5,600 limited edition vodka bottles that once you drain the vodka, you can use it as a bong. Yes, Cheech and Chong are still a bunch of stoners here, even in their 70s. Good for them. Some baseball news. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has signed a 12-year, $325 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who just signed a massive deal with Shohei Ohtani. So with these two Japanese baseball players, the Los Angeles Dodgers have spent $1 billion on two players. Now, Shohei has pushed his paycheck off to after his career. He's only going to get paid $2 million a year for the length of his contract. I think it's a 12-year contract also, and he's going to get the remainder of the money after after the 12 years is up or whatever. He'll get the remaining. It's being deferred. He's going to get the remaining money every year till he gets all of it. And it's pretty smart in that end, because if he got the big contract, I think it was like $700 million, something like that. So it would be like $70 million a year. It's for 10 years. It would be $70 million a year. The California taxes would be insane. So he has deferred it all so that after 10 years, if he decides to retire from baseball or go to another team, the Dodgers are still going to have to pay him, and he won't get hit with the California charge taxes because the tax rate shifts to wherever he lives. So if he goes back to Japan or if he moves to Baltimore or whatever, the tax rate will drop dramatically and he'll get more money out of it. It's a pretty smart move on that end, but it's kind of interesting that the Yankees were putting all their everything they can into getting this guy to sign with them. He ends up signing with the Dodgers. I find that hilarious. So we'll see what happens with that. What do we got here? Cinnamon French toast Chobani yogurt is a new thing that's just coming out now. Miller's Out trailer starring Martin Freeman and Jenna Ortega, psychological thriller. I didn't take the time to watch it because I didn't really have the time since it's a busy time. It's Christmas Eve right now, so lots of stuff going on here. Some cryptid part of our show here right now, 36 minutes in. It was multiple men. Men tracked Sasquatch along the Canada-Minnesota border. It's the longest tracking on record. They were following a series of Sasquatch footprints that lent the length of the basically the border between Minnesota and Canada, which is a really long border, to be honest. So it's the longest tracking on record of a Sasquatch. On top of that, a British driver claims that a man goat ran out in front of his car. Now, man goats are not an unusual cryptid. We have a ton of them here in the U.S., including one right down the road in Virginia, and there's, I think it's one in the bridges of Maryland too, down in one of these areas in Maryland too. In that whole DMV area, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, there's the goat man is one of our urban legends sort of thing. So the fact that he's been seen now in Britain means that maybe there's something to it similar to Sasquatch. Strange slide whistle fast radio burst was picked up by alien hunting telescopes, and nobody knows what it was or what it is or where it came from. So that's kind of crazy. Company gifts employees a potato as their Christmas bonus. That's just awful, man. That is so bad. My company at least gives us at least another week's paycheck, so we technically get like 2 weeks of pay this week of Christmas. So that kind of sucks that you get a potato as a Christmas bonus. That's insane. Percy Jackson came out this week on Disney Plus, and we watched the first 2 episodes, my wife, my daughter, and I. They're about a half hour long, so they seemed a little rushed to me. And I mean, all in all, it's a slow start. I think things are going to start picking up in the next episode. But it has the second episode, to me, the second episode was much better than the first one. The first one was a lot of setup, and the second one was more of continuing the story and introducing more characters. And it seems to be pretty good. No complaints about it. Just it wasn't knocking me off of my out of my boots. But I still am glad that. But to be fair, they are following the storyline fairly close. It just seems a lot more rushed because they are about a half hour each episode, and I don't exactly know how many episodes they're going to get. If you're going to do them half hour, you got to do more than 6 episodes. I think they're doing 8 or 9. I think they're going to be similar to like the She-Hulk series. So that eventually felt like it was a little rushed, but not too badly. But things are moving along though pretty good, and that's it was pretty good. So it's still well worth it if you enjoyed the books. I definitely would recommend checking out the television show. Pretty good casting so far, but we haven't really seen too much of everybody. But as I said, the first episode went a little slow. The second one was a little bit better, but still wasn't like a real major thing. But again, it's build up and stuff like that, and it is basically following the directions of the book, so that's pretty good. Anniversaries, A Christmas Carol, the Charles Dickens classic, which I have been a part of. I was Bob Cratchit in my 12th grade play I did. Is 180 years old this week. So 180 years ago, Charles Dickens released A Christmas Carol. God, that seems like a long way, doesn't it? But no, that's what it is. The original Grinch Who Stole Christmas cartoon came out in 1966. So let's see, 1960 would be 60. So we're looking at 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, like 54 years ago, something like that. That's not right. 66, 76, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026. It'll be 60. So then 59 is 2025. 28 is 2024. So yeah, about 57 years ago. 57 years ago. The Grinch, the original cartoon, came out. Actually, this is a little early. Robert Rodriguez's movie, The Faculty, actually came out 25 years ago tomorrow on Christmas Day, but I'm just going to give it a shout out today because Robert Rodriguez posted something this week about it. So I figured I'd show it up, but that's 25 years ago this week. Rocky Balboa. Sylvester Stallone's return to the character, trying to make him more like the original Rocky movie, came out 17 years ago this week. The Graduate came out 56 years ago this week. And I already talked about the 7th version of this film, but the original OG Scream came out 27 years ago this weekend. I was at the movie theater the day it came out. Yes, I was. I had a thing for Nev Campbell. So there we go. I have a thing for a lot of celebrities, don't I? All right, we got about a page and a half left, so this is going to be probably a shortish one. That's good because, hey, it's Christmas Eve. I don't want to make it too short because when I do, my wife's be like, hey, can you help me wrap? I'm like, I already wrapped a little bit today, but we'll see. She's much better and quicker at it than I am, but we'll see what happens. Chocolate Frosted Donut Kit Kats is the new flavor of Kit Kat coming out here soon. This is a surprise. Actually, we'll get for this. Twilight is releasing Lego is going to be releasing a Twilight set based on the vampire romantic drama with starred Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. But they are releasing a Twilight Lego set here in the next year. This one, as I said, took me a little bit by surprise. Frank Darabont. You know who Frank Darabont is. He directed Shawshank Redemption. He directed The Green Mile. He directed The Mist. He directed The Majestic. And he was the guy who really wanted to bring The Walking Dead from the comics world to the TV world. And for the first season, Frank Darabont was the showrunner, producer, director, writer, was The Walking Dead. And his first season is definitely, while it follows some bits of the comic, it sort of went off on its own tangent. And AMC was not a fan of what he had planned for the next season. Plus, they had just given a ton of money to Mad Men, which was at that time probably one of their best shows on the network. And Walking Dead was just sort of, it was nice, but it was only one season's worth of stuff and 6 episodes. And they did good, but you didn't do Mad Men numbers. So they were hesitant to give money to Darabont and Walking Dead. So he walked after the first season, and they brought in someone else to come in, and you've got the truncated second season, which, as I said, was the majority of it was set at the farm because they had no money because all the money went to Mad Men. And then when the numbers kept going up, they're all like, oh, maybe we should give more money to them. But by then, Darabont was already way gone. And they gave more money to them, and the rest is history. Walking Dead became their staple, and they're still sucking at that teat, as it were. But I bring that up because Frank Darabont really hasn't been doing much lately since the whole Walking Dead fiasco, if I can recall correctly. I don't remember if this is even the last thing he's done. Let's look that up here, because that's actually kind of an interesting idea, because I don't recall him doing anything after like The Mist. Frank Darabont. All right, let's see what he's got here. Okay, filmography. Yeah. Yeah, the last movie he did was The Mist, and that was 2007. So go figure that. And then television, he did something called Mob City, but it was a pilot, and that was it. So yeah, he hasn't done anything since 2007. Jesus. But that's about to change, because he has signed on, apparently, to direct, I don't know how many episodes, a couple maybe. I don't think all of them, but I think he's set to helm a few of Stranger Things Season 5 episodes. That'd be pretty cool if he continues to do that sort of thing. Adam Sandler appears to continuing with his Netflix deal, which I will, every time I bring this up, I will say you've got to give Adam Sandler a whole hell of a lot of credit, because he was really the first guy to take a look at streaming and Netflix and go, you know what? This is the way of the future. And this is before it became huge. And he signed a deal with Netflix to make movies for them. And every single one he has made for Netflix has been huge. I don't know how that reversed to money, how they get their money back. Is it due to the people who are signing up because of Adam Sandler, or what? I'm not exactly sure how it works, but regardless, they are very happy with him as well. They keep releasing 1 to 2 Adam Sandler movies a year because he's making them and he's doing them, and they're popular. I mean, they're hugely popular, every single one. The last one he did was the animated movie. Even animated was like the top movie out there. So he's doing another one, a very quick teaser trailer for this. This one's going to be a little bit different. This one is going to be a dramedy. It might even just be straight up drama. I don't know. It's called Spaceman. And we got the teaser, as I said. We got a voice. We've got like look of like a jungle sort of planet. And you have a voice talking in slow, subtle terms. And then you get a close-up of Adam Sandler in a spacesuit on the planet. And that's what it is. So that actually looks intriguing. It's due out March 1st, 2024. So that actually looks really good. And I might have to check that one out. Jonathan Majors, who played Kang in the MCU, has been found guilty on his sexual assault charges and stuff like that. So Marvel immediately has dropped him from any more productions, which sort of leaves their Kang stuff up in the air. Now, the thing is, everybody's like, they're changing the Kang Dynasty to Avengers 5 and all that stuff. And it's like, maybe they just drop the Kang storyline. I was like, no, don't drop the Kang storyline. Recast. It's very easy. Every multiverse character doesn't always have to look like the same actor. I mean, as we said, we know that John Krasinski will not be playing Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four movie. So his appearance in Doctor Strange 2 is just a one-off. We also know there's multiple versions of Peter Parker. We saw that as well, with Garfield and Maguire playing those roles as well. So it'd be real easy to grab one of the Council of Kangs members who does not look like Jonathan Majors, but looks like somebody else, to come in and somehow some convoluted way take over everything and be the Kang bad guy, and everything is all good. So, okay. So we'll see. Wheel of Time Origins movie is in the works. Wheel of Time seems to be doing a lot better than I thought it was going to be doing, but yeah, so it's doing good. So a Origins movie is in the works right now. Probably show up on Prime. What We Do in the Shadows, the Taika Waititi vampire sitcom dramedy, whatever, will be ending after its 6th season. So you got one more season of it, then it's over with. Luc Besson's new film, Dog Man, is set to debut in theaters in March of 2024. The next up for the MCU, one of the things next up for the MCU is Thunderbolts. It's set to be an R-rated Marvel film, the first one of its kind, and is set to start filming in early 2024 to make its 2025 debut date. That is one movie I'm actually looking forward to a lot, and I think it's going to make a shit ton of money, and all the haters can suck it, because I just think it's going to. Wonka has made $150 million worldwide this week. Okay, but not great. Jack Black, who I talked about earlier, wants to make a Super Mario Brothers sequel and wants to make it into a full-blown musical called Bowser's Revenge. And I think that's actually a really cool idea if they can do something like that. A physicist discovers that paradox-free time travel may actually be a possibility, basically meaning that if you travel back in time or forward in time and you do something that creates a paradox, you might not actually create a paradox in the end. Or you might not have the opportunity. There might be a different way of traveling, which you will not be able to create a paradox. So I don't know, but they discovered something. Talk about movies we probably don't need to see because this guy is like 70 years old and he's still probably in good shape. But Cliffhanger 2. Remember Cliffhanger? Cliffhanger came back in like the early 90s. Sylvester Stallone. It was Janine Turner, who at the time was hot from Northern Exposure. So this is the first movie she did while on her hiatus. And it made a ton of money. And John Lithgow was the bad guy. And it made a ton of money. And Rennie Harlan, I think, was the director. And then that was it. So here we are 30-some years later. And Sylvester Stallone is talking about, we're going to be set to make a second Cliffhanger movie. It's supposed to go into production next year. So I was like, okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know what you can do, but okay. Go for it, man. The Netflix Wednesday's Netflix show did extraordinarily well. The second season is going to start to work on here real soon. They shifted from Romania to Ireland, so that'll be an interesting way to see what happens there. But because of the popularity of the Wednesday show, Netflix has decided, we need spinoffs. Now, my original belief system was that Tim Burton was going to basically do Wednesday for one season just to set up his Addams Family remake or whatever. But because it's so popular, they're going into a second season of Wednesday. And I thought if you ever did a spinoff or whatever, you would just basically do the Addams Family. You got a bunch of good actors playing the roles of the Addamses. You can create a storyline for all of them like they did in the sitcom and the movies, and voila. But nope, instead they decide they're going to individualize and compartmentalize every member of the family. The first spinoff of Wednesday is rumored to be Uncle Fester, which would make sense. An Uncle Fester show could be anarchistic madness, because that's who the character is. But we'll see what happens. The first look at Willem Dafoe as the vampire hunter in Nosferatu was released. Nosferatu will be coming out 1 year and a day from today. So a horror movie will be coming out on Christmas Day about blood-sucking vampires. But what's interesting about that is Willem Dafoe has worked with Robert Eggers in like almost all of his movies, I think. And this is no different. And the one picture we have is of Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe, crazy, insane, in a crypt that's surrounded by flames. It looks pretty interesting. That's another movie that is intriguing to me. The WB has won the bidding war for the Ryan Reynolds, Channing Tatum action comedy that's said to be just like Lethal Weapon. So we'll be seeing one of those coming up here really soon. Webb Telescope took another shot of Uranus, and continues to show a really nice look at it, and you got some of the moons in there as well. Pretty cool. Peyton Manning has found out that the tush push isn't legal in his son's 7th grade youth football league. He's the coach, apparently, and he tried to use it, and they flagged him for trying to use it. It's like, oh, well, too bad. I mean, I'm sure he's a really good guy, and he seems like a good guy, and he's a geeky guy and stuff like that, but what is with this need for Henry Cavill to be in everything? This makes sense because this is something that he's been developing. But everybody's like saying, now's the time for him to be James Bond. It's like, this is my Superman. And also, and to be fair, Argyle looks like a fucking fun movie. And I'll probably check that out as well. But everybody is so obsessed with Henry Cavill. And I mean, I guess I can make sense. I mean, he's done a lot of good roles besides that shitty Zack Snyder ones. God damn it. I was going to try not to mention that asshole's name. But here we go. Here we are. And they liked him in The Witcher, and I think they feel bad for him because both The Witcher and Superman, he's been removed from the characters that he said he loves, and because from different production companies, stuff like that, doing stuff. Well, with Witcher, he didn't like the direction it was going in, and with Superman, James Gunn was trying to get the Zack Snyder stench off of DCU. And I know there was, and it's still, to be honest, if you want to look at some like early parts of Superman's career, he's too old to play Superman right now. And plus, he was in a horrible bunch of Superman movies. As I said, if I was the guy who was taking over the DCU, I probably would have given him another shot. But I'm not. But everybody is obsessed with Henry Cavill. They say he should be in everything and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know what? You got to back off a little bit. He's already doing a Highlander, and he's going to be, doing the Argyle movie and stuff like that. And he's going to be doing one of his dream projects, which I think he's going to be able, since I think he's producing it, he's going to be able to keep himself involved with it and keep it going. He's a huge Warhammer 40,000 fan. And he's finally going to be able to do his Warhammer 40,000 TV show. It's in the process right now of pre-production, so we'll be seeing that sooner than later. So that's good for me. I mean, it gives him a chance to do something that he really, really likes, but I just think you got to lay off, saying he's good for everything, or that you need to cast him for everything. Now, my team, the Baltimore Ravens, they do not play until Christmas night. They have the Christmas night game. They're playing the last game of this week's schedule against the powerhouse San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people are saying this could very well be a Super Bowl matchup preview, as it were. The Ravens have to travel to San Francisco. San Francisco is playing good ball. They're both the number one seeds in their divisions, AFC and NFC. They have the exact same records. And the Ravens are a 5-point underdog right now. And all these pundits are just saying that the Ravens are going to get utterly demolished by San Francisco. I don't think it's going to be the case. I don't have high hopes we're going to win the game, but I think we're going to play a close game, and I think we potentially could win the game because 2 of the 3 losses San Francisco had were against other members of our division. They lost to the Browns and they lost to the Bengals. They beat the Steelers. So I would not be surprised if we lost this game. Honestly, would not be too surprised if we won this game either. It's one of these games that really doesn't matter because with our win last week against Jacksonville, we have clinched a playoff spot. So even if we have an utter collapse and stuff like that, we will still be at least a wild card. We just have to win. If we win on Sunday or Monday, after the Browns lose on if the Browns lose on today, and the Ravens win tomorrow, the Ravens have clinched the AFC North. So we'll see what happens. Who are the Browns playing? I think the Browns have a tough game, I think. Browns playing Texans. Okay, that might not be a too tough game. Texans have been pretty good lately, but we'll see what happens. So we shall see. But we did clinch a playoff spot with our win, and this game is going to be a big one. But even if we lose, we still have 2 games up on the people behind us. We'd be dropped down to 1 game behind us. We play the Dolphins on New Year's Eve. That's going to be the big game. We have to win that one if we want to remain the number 1 seed. Excuse me. We have to win that one. Miami has to come up from warm Miami to cold Baltimore. It's actually going to be a cold, cold day. People thought it would be flexed to New Year's Eve night. That's not going to happen. That's already been decided as a 1:00 game. So it won't be as bad for Miami, but it's actually, as of now, New Year's Eve is going to be brutally cold. The temperature we got right now. So it's Christmas Eve. You've got temperature going up to 48 degrees. No snow in the forecast. No white Christmas. And now New Year's Eve, which is 1 week from now, we have a high of 36, a low of 24. So if that's going to be the temperature at game time, I think Miami doesn't do well in the cold. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of it has to do with what goes on this week. So good on them for the Ravens for doing that. Sorry, give me a second. New coffee creamers coming out next year. We have salted caramel brownie, which actually sounds really, really good for a coffee creamer, and buffalo blueberry muffin, which does not. I love blueberry muffins. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but a blueberry muffin flavored coffee creamer. There's just something about fruit flavored coffee creamers that just doesn't work. I can't think of any fruit flavor that would work as a coffee creamer. Banana wouldn't, apple wouldn't, oranges wouldn't, grapes wouldn't. So I love blueberry muffins, but I think fruit and coffee just don't mix. Salted caramel brownie, on the other hand, is going to be out of this world. I've been trying to, let me back here. You all know that I have interest in attractive female celebrities. I've talked about Sarah Michelle Gellar all the time. My new obsession, as it were, is Anne Hathaway. And I've made a list of all the hottie celebrities that I'm interested in looking at, and I save pictures of on my my phone and stuff like that from various websites. I think Sydney Sweeney's a hottie as well, and I think Margot Robbie is too. And apparently, a lot of people believe that because Margot Robbie was publicly voted the #1 most beautiful female celebrity in 2023. Again, I'm biased. I'm more interested in Anne Hathaway or Sydney Sweeney right now, but Margot Robbie is in that top 5, and she really is gorgeous, and she is Barbie, for God's sakes. So I can't argue with that discussion. I can make a case for Sydney Sweeney. You can make a case for Anne Hathaway, but Margot Robbie is a excellent choice, and voila. Anniversaries. I'm sorry, no, death is the only one death on here. Eric Montrose, North Carolina basketball coach, passed away this week. Anniversaries. Eddie Murphy Raw came out in 1987, 87, 97, 2007, 2017. That's 36 years ago. Raging Bull came out 43 years ago this week. And the same day, 9 to 5 came out 43 years ago this week as well. Little Shop of Horrors came out in 1986, which leaves it 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 2026, 25, 24, 23, like 38 years, 37 years ago. 37 years. Oh, Titanic came out 26 years ago this week. And the movie that surpassed it, well, Avengers Endgame surpassed it as the highest grossing movie of all time. And then the movie that surpassed, the movie that surpassed Titanic was Avatar. That came out 14 years ago. And then Endgame came and took it over, but then Avatar was re-released multiple times to get it back on top. Star Wars The Force Awakens came out 8 years ago. That wasn't a bad movie. I liked it. One of my wife's favorite movies, The Dark Crystal, came out, 1982, 41 years ago. Yeah, same year Anne Hathaway was born. Fellowship, The Return of the King is celebrating its 20th anniversary, came out this week. The Two Towers came out 21 years ago this week, and Fellowship of the Ring came out 22 years ago this week. So they all came out around the same time of the year, 3 straight years in a row. That's all your anniversaries. All right. Probably finishes before 1 o'clock, so she's probably still going to be up, so I'll need a wrap. I just sort of want to sit and look at stuff, so we'll see. She's a fast rapper, so we'll see where she's at. More anniversaries this week. We have Legend, came out in 1985. That's Tom Cruise, Tim Curry, Mia Sarah, Ridley Scott directed it. It's a fantasy film. It's a definitely unique film. I watched it once. I don't remember much about it. It came out in 1985, so 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 2025. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2025 would be the 40th anniversary of it, right? 85. Yeah, it would be the 40th anniversary of it. It would be 225. So 20, 40, 39, like 38 years ago came out. What's Eating Gilbert Grape came out 30 years ago this week. That's Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, and Juliette Lewis. Came out in 1993. And the big anniversary that came out this week, the 120th anniversary of the first airplane flight by the Wright brothers. Only 120 years ago was the first flight. And that's one thing that really blows people's minds is 1903 was when the Wright brothers flew for the first time. 66 years later, man landed on the moon. 66 years and 2 world wars. it's insane to just think about how quick things came together for everybody. But yep, it all started 120 years ago this week. That'll be my last. Okay. Reacher star Alan Ritchson is interested in playing Batman in the Gunverse and Brave and Bold. And honestly, you know what? I think Ritchson would be a really good Batman. He's got the build. He's a good-looking guy. And he's already been indoctrinated into the DC world. He was in Smallville and the Titans. He played Hawk, and the Titans didn't know that. Hawk is such a great character. And I don't know who he played in Smallville, but I'm sure he probably played one of the superheroes that came there, like an Aquaman or something like that. Let's find out what his actual career is. I got to kill a little bit more time because I want her to finish up. Yep, Aquaman, Arthur Curry. I thought that's who it was. Yep. All right, let's find out all the stuff that he's done here. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got the Batman build, right? He's got the Batman look. Just think about that. All right, let's see. He was Gloss in the Hunger Games, Catching Fire. He was in Fast X. Television, really, yeah. He was in American Idol. He was in Smallville. He played Arthur Curry, Aquaman, for 4 episodes. He did a lot of one-offs. He did a one-off for 90210 for CSI Miami. The remake of 90210, not the original. Hawaii Five-0, New Girl, Workaholics, Black Mirror. The Titans, he played Hank Hall, the Hawk. Yep. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he was young Norm Scully. Didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and he's Jack Reacher now. So I think he's a good choice for Batman. I think that'd be a really good good role for him, I think. Ryan Coogler is he's the guy who directed the Black Panther movies, is set to develop a new X-Files series for Disney. So I guess it'll be on Disney Plus sort of thing with a whole new set of X-Files. I think that'd be kind of cool if you can do it properly, I suppose. Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, only did 1 season because that's all he thought he was contracted to do, and there was some issues with showrunners and producers when he left. That's why he only did 1 season, and Tennant came in after that. However, people have been clamoring for Christopher Eccleston to come back to the role, and he has never really touched it. I think he did a audio play with the old Doctor, but he said there's only one way he would come back to play the Doctor again in a cameo or whatever, is if they fire Russell Davies, who's now the executive producer or showrunner for the new series of Doctor Who, and all of his lackeys, because apparently he has major beef with Russell T. Davies. The fact that Russell T. Davies hasn't been involved for close to 10 years kind of makes that a moot point. So I guess maybe he thought the other people who were his lackeys were still involved with it. But that is what he said he would do to get him to come back. Honestly, I think it's kind of a dick move, but that's what I have to say about that. It's a perfect time for this. It's Christmas Eve, almost an hour into Christmas Eve. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that came out 2 years ago. Well, not 2 years. It came out last year, right? 2022. Yeah, it came out in 2022. And there is the Children and Family Emmy Awards that came out. And the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I still to this day believe is one of the best, if not the best thing the MCU has ever done. And it's a perfect thing. Go Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, go Disney Plus. It's on there right now. Type in, maybe go to Marvel or go to their Christmas section or just type in Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and watch it. It's about 45 minutes long. It is freaking hilarious and becomes extraordinarily heartfelt and has good new songs for Christmas time. You can get a little bit of animated bit, and you get some. Now, the only problem with it is because it's such a short, the other Guardians sort of get short shrifted on it. It's mostly focused more on Mantis and Drax, but that's okay. That actually they do really, really well together. It's a good palate cleanser before the stuff that happened in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But regardless, if you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend going to Disney Plus and watching it tonight. Today. Doesn't have to be tonight, but today. I'm going to plan on trying to do that maybe today sometime because I love it. It's only, as I said, 45 minutes long. Not very long. I'm not going to ruin anything else about it, but it is extraordinarily funny, extraordinarily heartfelt, and has some really good music in it as well. Anyway, the Children and Family Emmys came out, and the holiday special won four Children and Family Emmys, including Outstanding Fiction Special, Outstanding Costume Design, Outstanding Makeup and Hairstyling, and Outstanding Stunt Coordination. So absolutely deserves it. Again, I cannot stress. Go to Disney Plus right now and go type in Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, or you could find on there by clicking on the Marvel button, or it might even be up on the main page since it is a holiday thing. They have a Christmas section. Go watch it. As I said, 45 minutes of your day. Watch it while you're wrapping presents. You will love it. It is funny. It is heartfelt and has one of the best uses of Smashing Pumpkins' Christmas Time that I've ever seen. The way Gunn uses it, directs the scene it's used in, is absolutely outstanding. The final story for today, I can't push it any longer than this. It's 1 o'clock, so we're an hour into Christmas Eve here, so things are moving right along now. Does that mean Santa is now out and about? I gotta start looking that up. Does it start now that he's out and about? You know what that means? It means we gotta look up Santa Tracker. Actually, I'm gonna look it up on X. They should have it up on X. All right, let's see. Just want to see if it's ready. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, I'm in the wrong. All right, search. No, it has not started yet. So, yep. So I gotta keep an eye on that. NORAD tracks Santa. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So that's good. So, yeah, Santa Tracker should be going live. So I will check a little bit early when I wake up this morning, a little bit later this morning. I will check it out again, but definitely check the NORAD Santa Tracker. It's always a lot of fun. Even if you don't have kids, it's still fun to look at that and say, hey, this is where Santa is. It's really wild. So good on that. So the final story on this Christmas Eve, the Carolina Panthers, this is football related, is one of the worst football teams in football right now. And they were playing a divisional game against the Atlanta Falcons, who actually aren't that good either. And it was at Carolina Stadium, which had minimal fans attendance because the team is terrible. They're like 2-15 or something like that, 2-13, something like that. Cost for tickets for their game last week, against the Atlanta Falcons. The lowest price ticket to go to see them was 45 cents. Not lying. They fired their coach. Hopefully they'll be able to bring in someone who can bring them back to life. But that was just, oh my God, it was just a freaking disaster. And I feel bad for MJ Khan, my former co-host of the comic show that I used to do here when I used to have co-hosts. He's a fan of the Carolina Panthers. He lives down there. He must be beside himself. So that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially Christmas Eve. I've been an hour into Christmas Eve. Thank you for bearing with me. This year has been amazing. My 500th episode reared its head 32 weeks ago. And here we are, the penultimate episode of the year. I guess that's right? Next to last. Because next week's episode will be the last episode of 2023. Will take place this December 30th into 31st. So we'll be able to talk about what's going on Christmas related. Let you know if Percy Jackson got better. It's probably going to be another slow news week. So probably have a shortish episode next week. So we'll see what happens. And get you ready for New Year's Eve. But since it is officially Christmas Eve, everyone here, just me, at Dylan Knows, would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. We finally made it. This is the most magical day of Christmas, to be honest. I like Christmas Eve a whole lot more than Christmas Day because of the anticipation of what's to come. Now, it's not going to be as big anymore now because the kids are much older, but it's still fun. And we have our traditions and stuff like that, so it should be really good. So from my family to yours, to everybody out there, everyone here at Dylan Knows, we would love to wish you, again, a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your holiday. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Watch Christmas movies. Eat cookies. Watch bowl games. We're going to get some of those going on. Watch football. Read. Wrap your presents. Go to church. See family. Bake. Just be safe. Have fun. And don't forget the magic of Christmas. Merry Christmas.